Hello, and welcome back to The Witness. Let's not look at that. That's not what we're here for. While I'm remembering, wait, how do I get there? There was a recorder. Now that I know that I can access these from a distance, that might be too much distance. Because there wasn't really any point to this whole area up here other than this. Hmm. That not... Well, I can't look at it from here. Never mind. Okay, so I was told I might want subtitles on for this. Doesn't really make a difference for me, but it makes a difference for other people. Might as well turn them on, I don't mind.
I am standing on the threshold about to enter a room. It is a complicated business. In the first place, I must shove against an atmosphere pressing with a force of 14 pounds on every square inch of my body. I must make sure of landing on a plank, traveling at 20 miles a second around the sun. A fraction of a second too early or too late, the plank would be miles away. I must do this whilst hanging from a round planet head outward into space and with a wind of ether blowing at no one knows how many miles a second through every interstice of my body. The plank has no solidity of substance. To step on it is like stepping on a swarm of flies. Shall I not slip through? No. If I make the venture, one of the flies hits me and gives me a boost up again. I fall again and am knocked upwards by another fly, and so on. I may hope that the net result will be that I remain about steady, but if, unfortunately, I should slip through the floor or be boosted too violently up to the ceiling, the occurrence would be not a violation of the laws of nature, but a rare coincidence. These are some of the minor difficulties. I ought really to look at the problem four-dimensionally as concerning the intersection of my world line with that of the plank. Then again, it is necessary to determine in which direction the entropy of the world is increasing in order to make sure that my passage of the threshold is an entrance, not an exit. Verily, it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a scientific man to pass through a door. And whether the door be barn door or church door, it might be wiser that he should consent to be an ordinary man and walk in, rather than wait till all the difficulties involved in a really scientific ingress are resolved. Arthur Eddington, 1927.
Okay, that tells me approximately nothing. Um, hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of that. Kind of like the previous one, it's not immediately useful, but it could be hinting at something in the environment. I'm just not really sure what that has to do with anything. I guess in the context of this puzzle game, could be telling me that I'm not supposed to... just because I think I can enter an area doesn't necessarily mean that I can. There might be an alternate path in that's the one I have to take. Which could be copium about that impossible door. I have gotten a comment on one of my previous videos hinting that I might just be missing something obvious with it, which, you know, is entirely possible. And in the meantime, though, I guess I will wander around until I find another thing to do. Finish this. We've finished that area. The trees that we're splitting. Hmm. Well, that didn't form naturally. What could be going on here? Hmm. Construction site of some sort. Well, there are a lot of lines. Not the same kind of symbol I've been seeing with like the half sun flower or whatever it is. Hmm. Yeah, there's a way up here. Ah, well, there was something about triangles in the that village area. So fairly obvious first. So it's not just a matter of getting to the end. Oh, mouse. Um, so this might be drawing a specific shape. Now we look for clues in the environment. Sometimes just trying a bunch of random stuff and seeing if something works can be a good step in that process because we can determine that, or we can work backwards. So when we don't know what the solution is, or when we know what the solution is, we can use that knowledge to try to figure out something. Try to derive how we can get to the solution. Hmm. Okay, I can't climb that. Alright, so we have a vantage point here. Looking for things that look like hexagons. We can go up that side as well. Okay, there is another one that's active, which has a slightly different shape, it looks like. Still a hexagon, but there's also a line going through it. Hmm. another panel. The one. Okay, can I see anything from up here? Hmm. Well, there are all of these lines out here. So I might be using this grid to try to, or this network of lines. It's kind of the only obvious thing. Yeah, and you can see that there are gaps in the lines. So if I look at this center one, that is something that has 6 lines coming off of it as a starting spot. Don't know what we make of that though. I guess. Like there's the one that's shining there. And it also depends on whether that's the right vantage point, or if it's something I'm supposed to look at from here. None of these are interactable, right? Also, was the one thing being brighter just a light? Yeah, I don't seem to be able to interact with them that way. Yeah, I don't think the one being lit up is actually super relevant. Now, they do have different phases. Think of like moons or whatever. Like this one has like 2/3 full. This one's just like 1/3 full. This one's half. That seems more relevant. This one's empty. Hmm. Are they all different? Now we got another crescent. Those two are the same, but also different. Potentially, because one could be waxing and one could be waning, assuming that these are moon phases. Hmm. And there are exactly... Well, no, there are duplicates, because then there's this. Alright, so one theory was that this here is a point in the center of 6 lines. And it goes up this way until we hit this. Maybe. And then it hits this. And then... Hmm. feel like that's reaching. Have to start here. Okay, I can stop it arbitrarily. Um, hmm. I really feel like I just don't have enough information to work with anything here. We got this, which is actually just the same thing. Oh, okay. I did the wrong thing and it powered off. Hmm. So they do not want me doing trial and error, obviously. I have no idea what was turning that on in the first place. Hmm. Well, we could continue just looking around. I'm going to say something that's potentially going to be unpopular, but this kind of looking for clues in the environment and inferring what it is that they mean is really not my preferred type of puzzle. I can't say that I'm enjoying the way that this game has gone recently. Because you're just guessing and then checking to see if the guess sort of worked, and it's just not as satisfying as knowing what the rules are that you're working with. Hmm. That's probably just a panel for opening this. Is there anything else around here that could be meaningful? Well, that's definitely something. We're at a boat going to the sun. And it just kind of breaks off here. Okay, don't seem to be able to get down there. Well, I guess there's this over here. Anything other than that door? Because at the moment, I'm just trying to figure out what I could even be working with. That one puzzle does have a finite number of permutations, so when I'm done down here, I probably will just go back and brute force it, and then once I have a solution, I'll see if that makes more sense of anything. Okay, we've got another one of these. So last time, I think the only thing I could really get out of that is this triangle here is saying I have to move along it to the left, because if I move along it this way, that's not good. Okay, so that seems to hold. That kind of worked exactly the way I thought it would. Yeah, seems to be multiple solutions as long as I just don't violate the flashing part. No idea what that does, but I am able to activate it. Okay, and this, I never solved the tutorial involving these kinds of things either. I have no idea. And it's not giving me any real feedback here. I do know that I'm supposed to cover all of these dots, probably. But then these different shapes mean something, but there's no way I'm brute forcing that. So another mechanism that hasn't been explained and that I haven't figured out how to do from even the most basic version of it. Alright, so if we come back up here, our only options really are some variation of this, because we can't ever go back to the center. So I think this has to do with that grid up front. But I have no idea how I'm supposed to be reading it. So once I see what the solution is, I will go look at the grid again and see if I can make more sense of that information. So we go from the 1, and we get another one that looks basically the same. I did just notice that there are some scratch textures. So like, I wonder if that could be telling me that I start by going up and around in the same way. Hmm. So we go 2/3 of the way around. Don't think there's anything there. Again, I just don't know where the starting point of this is. Because even if I take this as the starting point, because it has 6 lines, that doesn't work because all of them, well, you start in the same spot. Yes, okay. And that means that this stuff out here probably has nothing to do with what the actual solution was. So just following the scratch marks on the panel. Is it always that distance? And I really do not like this, I have to say. There is the shadow as well, which could have something to do with potential moon phases. Yes, now this one. Still can start in the center. Follow the scratches. Like we start from there. Well, if we're always producing the same shape, hmm. Okay, so if I look at it from up here, The ones that are shining are different depending on where I'm standing, so I don't think that's the... I don't think that's relevant. But we do have... Yeah, because that... Hmm. Okay, so... If I look at these relative to each other, their position in the ruin could mean something. Hmm. Does the pattern of broken and standing pillars match with anything on this line, set of lines here? It kind of looks like this is more of a square structure, whereas over here we're looking with a bunch of triangles. So these actually might not even be related. Because I don't see... Yeah, like there isn't even really a hexagon shape out of this. These lines extend too far into the distance. So looking at that central dot as part of a hexagon doesn't even really work. This vantage point exists for a reason, though. And I guess there is always the guess and check option where I have some of the lines scratched in. So I have a limited number of permutations that I can try. If I assume that that's the starting spot and I'm ending somewhere in the shadows. That's super unpleasant, though, if that's the way to solve it. But that's the only thing I have that seems to work at the moment. This one. Reset it real quick. Yeah, we can see some scratches. Can see some scratches here where it hits the sun. And we... Yeah, we can kind of move our light around a little bit. It's super hard to get it on that bottom left corner, though. But we can see that start in the center. Okay, we can see it moving to the bottom left and ending at the top. Alright, so I think this is just a matter of looking at the scratches on these panels. Wait. It's just skipping this one. I have to be relatively close up in order to see. Where can I get an angle where I can see the light shining on that bottom part? If I back up. Okay, I mean, the information is there. Here, it ends there. And it's not going into the center. However, it could very well be that, or it could be something like that, or something like that. Something like that. There's so many options here. I can't actually see. And this doesn't give me any light. So I know it starts here and ends here. And it doesn't follow these two paths. Okay, but it does go through the center. So am I doing this via trial and error again? Or is there another hint? These two are the same shape. Is it possible to create that shape? Not really, if we're going... Like, we know this is a different shape. Because of the way the endpoints are. One, two, three, four, five. I assume it's 5 lines. 3, 4, 5, that is 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that is 6. So there were a few different variations of this that it could have been. Because I could have gone like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or 5. We'll see if it accepts it. Nope. Okay. So, in conclusion, I have no idea. Alright, is there anything we can... work out from here? Can start from the middle. I can start from the middle. I did see... There we go. Okay, so that one is pretty clearly that. Let's just go mark it. Oh, I forgot. Bottom left, top left, bottom right. Well, there goes my theory about it being a certain number of segments each time. Bottom left, top left, bottom right. Okay. That one's pretty straightforward. Where's my light spot for this one? Shouldn't be up here. This is... Maybe it's just symmetrical? Yeah, because that one's pretty clearly up, down. We can't see anything from here, right? We're too close. Just a straight line. Okay. So not symmetrical. Hmm. Okay. So we've powered this again. We also have this thing down here, which... Is this just a choice? We also have one more puzzle, which we're looking for sunlight. Hmm. Okay, not that one. Oh, where is this going then? Oh, I see. The game just kind of gave that one to me. On sunlight. Okay, maybe. What am I even on? I mean, I was gonna say it's too far, but actually it kind of works. Okay, so it's a timing thing, and I just kind of missed it, but I found the vantage spot. Ah. Top right. Down. Are there any more of these? There are. Hmm. Assuming this is controlling the lights. What did I just do? I have 3 cables coming out and I chose none of them. Brilliant. So I only get to see part of the scratch pattern each time, it looks like. Okay, well, let's just focus on this left one. It looks like we start in the center. No, we go through the center. I mean, doesn't that just tell me the solution? It starts at the bottom right, goes through the center, ends at the bottom left. I think that's just telling me it's this. Ah. Whereas this one, maybe each of these lights better for one. Okay, I don't have a start or end point. There's my start. Means that. I guess that angle is just turn off all the lights. Coming up here, ending this way. Coming along like this, probably. And ending here. So the question is, do we start here or do we start here? What do we do? This should tell us about this. Okay, so very clearly, I think the only way that this works, if we start here, do some... Oh. Really? Really? Blocked by something in the environment. Okay, so there's a couple of options here. It's going to be something like that, but lacking information. Am I? I might not be. I think it has to, oops, it has to be like this. just keep going. There's a lot here. Okay, well, that was some pretty good progress on this section. Um, yeah, more light. Yeah, not the most interesting puzzles. My impression is still rather negative for this section, but I guess we'll pick up with this and try some more of it again next time. I will see you then.